Ladies and gentlemen, please don't adjust your sets. What you see here is pure whiteness. Do you have any problem with this color? Probably not. But guess what? There are some politically correct activists who find it extremely offensive. And they are engaged in a long-lasting war for a noble cause of reducing the whiteness.
Stop it. Get some help.
Hello, good people of the internet. The culture war is never over, and apparently people who are, well, basically considered white and straight, of course, who are not members of minority, right now are considered being guilty of everything. Basically everything done wrong is done by white people. Therefore, there is a new term coined to help with this kind of attitude, which we can already consider a very derogatory, and it is whiteness, or as some people may call it, whiteness. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you belong to the white race, you are the source of everything wrong, at least according to some activists, journalists. As you can see, this here article in Forbes is titled 3 Ways to Transform Your Workplace to be More Equitable, and let me assure from the very get-go that all 3 of them are about this evil skin color being too prominent. Because you know that in this day and age nowadays, this is the only skin color, the only racial group that can be attacked, can be considered the source of all evil, and there are absolutely no repercussions for doing so. I would even say that in some circles it is encouraged to do so, because it's very easy and you can get the nice, juicy brownie points for being a great leftist. If you try to do something like this, if you try to accuse some other race, some other minority of being the source of problems, for example, in your workplace, you know what would happen then. You will be basically destroyed online, cancelled, fired. Progressive and sensitive people would be craving for your blood, for the heinous crime of accusing someone from minority groups of any wrongdoing. Because, you know, you should never forget that black, Asian, non-binary, trans people are all living angels, walking saints. So let me read a couple of sentences that prove to everyone that trying to fight the quote-unquote good fight is having absolutely the opposite effect, which means it creates even more divides between cultures and races. Let's start with this one. White centering can be thought of as a system that prioritizes white dominant culture to the detriment of non-white groups and cultures. Jesus Christ. White centering has been given many names, including the white gaze. What is white gaze? If a white person looks at the black person in some wrong way, that is already considered white gaze? Because I believe that is just looking for excuses, but you know, that's just me. White gaze and whiteness as the default. I am white. This is how I was born. For me, it's the default. I don't know what that means. Because white centering is often left unexamined and unchecked, equity and justice have continued to evade organizations. Jesus Christ. So basically, if you have too many white people or too much whiteness in organizations and in workplaces, that is the opposite of justice? Is this what you are implying? Then the article describes the injustice in a workplace, apparently, which is something I have never met with. You know, I work in a huge corporation, and diversity, inclusion, belonging is the first thing that we are welcomed with when we log into our systems, and I have never seen anyone being oppressed based on the skin color or being in minorities. So I'm not sure how it works in the USA. You can tell me in comments. Actually, it is the other way around. I cannot tell you any details, obviously, but I had this Halloween party in my office, like I think that was 2 years ago. and someone got dressed as a member of minority group, like stereotypical dress, and it caused HR to intervene, and that person that person was in a huge trouble because of that, get up, because of that cosplay, so to speak. What I see, at least in my corporation, which is European, maybe, like I said previously, I'm sorry to repeat myself, but maybe in the USA it's different. I just wanted to point it out, that actually right now everyone is oversensitive when it comes to things about minorities and oppression and diversity and all that. But this article claims otherwise. I'm not sure what research it is based on, really. But basically what this article claims is that people who are non-white are faced with more challenges, and it is way harder for these races, for these minorities to achieve anything in the workplace. Which, like I said, in my humble opinion, that's just self-victimization. That's just looking for excuses to play the victim card and to, to bring even more injustice, to even bring in even more hate to the world. Because, the effect of that is the opposite to what this writer claims. By the way, who is this writer? Let me check. Janice Gassam Asare. And of course, she's black. Yes. Here it is. The first way to make whiteness in the workplace to go away, first by education. Despite the best-laid plans for corporate America, DEI efforts haven't been as successful as anticipated. According to a recent Catalyst report that explored workplace errorism, whiteness as the default plays a pivotal role in allowing errorist behaviors to continue. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So you can see it here, that if someone is errorist or bigoted, this is because they are white. There is absolutely no errorist behavior when someone belongs to other racial group and doesn't like them. Doesn't like someone who doesn't belong to that group, I mean. Only white people are capable of errorism, ladies and gentlemen. That's basically what this article assumes. The solution? Inviting experts and educators to facilitate learning. This is paramount. What it means? Well, probably lessons about, how minorities are oppressed and how we should stop doing so. Now, you will see a little bit of a contradiction here, because the second way is implementing objectivity. Within workplace cultures, there are values, norms, and mores that employees quickly adapt to. These learned behaviors guide our understanding and influence our actions. So basically, think about integrating objective methods into workplace systems to actively decentering whiteness in the workplace. You know what? Objectivity means applying the same rules to all races, and all walks of life, and all minorities, whoever you identify as, whatever color your skin has. It means that you have to live by the same rules. And by saying that something is white, that there is a whiteness in the workplace, you are actively subjective, because you are ruling out one racial group as guilty, as evil. That is the opposite of objectivity. But of course, you don't see that. You don't see that divide, because you are the one who is the victim, right? The third way is pretty obvious: accountability, which means that white people should be accountable for everything wrong they do. And basically, it's a very dangerous thing, because right now, people who are in minorities can always assume that whatever wrong, or what they assume was wrong, is applied to them in the workplace. They can hold white people accountable, even if they didn't do anything wrong, but someone from minority just feels that something wrong was done to them. And actually, I have some stories about this. Couple people just they were simply not doing a very good job. Coincidentally, they were all members of the same racial minority in that company. They were terrible at customer service. That actually happened in my previous job, before the one that I have now. And those people, like I said, they were terrible. They were very rude. They were unpleasant. They were not doing what they should be doing for customers. And they had many meetings about this, and they wanted to fire them. But those people actually did exactly what it was written here in this very article, which means they accused the managers who wanted to fire them of being white and using their white privilege, to fire them, and they felt oppressed. And guess what? The previous corporation actually gave up. They didn't fire them, and they kept doing terrible job, because it was more important for a corporation to not look bad as heists and Forbes, instead of having a very bad reputation among the customer base. Ladies and gentlemen, in my humble opinion, that article is very dangerous, because instead of really helping oppressed people, it escalates tensions even more, because it creates even bigger divide between white people and the rest of the world. And this is extremely dangerous. I mean, this writer, this journalist, she probably thinks she's doing great job, that she's fighting for equality, and actually she does the exact opposite. Here is a quote from Elon Musk from the recent interview. I'm going to play it for you because it nails it. Elon Musk nails what that kind of activity is.
And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. Them. And
Yep. That's basically it. Those kind of journalists, they just want to look good, and for people to look at them as they are their saviors. But in reality, they just do evil. They just increase tensions. Here is the YouTube video of Charlie Cheon. Many of you maybe have seen it already because it's quite prominent on YouTube. What are we doing to white people? And he actually also tackles this very problem about minority and other races, people belonging to them, and attacking white people, because right now it's allowed and even encouraged. And he says something about this kind of activities. Let's listen to it.
First, let's take a look at the racial hatred at the interpersonal level. In today's society, it has become somewhat fashionable to think things and say things about and to white people that would not be acceptable if it was said about any other race.
Exactly.
We're being taught that this double standard is not wrong, that it is rather a form of empowerment. They'll attribute negative experiences that they've had with white people to their whiteness.
To their whiteness. See? Whiteness.
You had an argument in line at the grocery store with a white person? They were acting entitled because they were white.
Yeah.
A white driver cut you off while you were driving? They need to check their white privilege.
Exactly. And the same goes for companies and managers who dare to try to make you do your job. And we already have official reactions, actually, to this very article. One of the conservative senators, is furious over this, claiming, done with this, yes. Senator J.D. Vance, Ohio, blasted Forbes magazine Wednesday for writing an article he found ageist and gross. I'm just done with this S, Senator Vance wrote to his more than 400k followers or X. It is ageist and it's gross. Forbes should be ashamed of themselves for publishing it. Yes, the author is a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant. I've directed my staff to investigate whether her business received any public money for Ohio. Probably not, to be honest. But seriously, people, if your employer is decentering any race, religion, gender, veteran status, or other protected characteristic in your place, and it affects you, this should be taken on nationally. And I actually agree. Also, he presents examples. Imagine if Forbes published a headline saying 3 ways to decenter blackness in your workplace. Or what if Forbes said 3 ways to decenter Jewness in your workplace? It's arism, pure and simple. Yes, imagine these kinds of articles. Like I said at the beginning, can you imagine what would have happened? Like a couple of minutes, like maybe an hour after publishing this article, there would be a crowd with bloody torches and pitchforks, just waiting to crucify someone for like the obvious example of arism. But if you do it the other way around, if you attack white people, that's fine. That absolutely is a social norm. This is the world we are living in right now, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to see your opinions. I would like to see your comments under this video. What do you think about this? Do I exaggerate? Maybe I overreact? Maybe there's nothing wrong with this? What do you think? Thank you very much for watching. Sorry, I'm a little bit agitated by this, so I'm going to finish now. Have a nice day. Till next time. Cheers. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed my video, please subscribe, drop a like and press the notification bell so you won't miss anything I upload. And if you didn't enjoy this, well, subscribe anyway. At least you will know when there is a new video to actively hate.